Hey guys, how are you doing? I feel like it's such a gorgeous spring day today, 75 degrees. So I decided to sit outside and talk to you guys. Recently, I did a deal with a first time buyer, young guy, 25 years old, and he was first looking to get a rental. And the rents in this area in Wake County, could be anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500. The lowest maybe by $1,800 a month. Rent has gone skyrocketed here in Wake County. And this young man had no idea about buying a house, didn't know the steps, didn't know what to do. So I start talking to him about, have you thought about buying a house instead of paying $2,000 a month rent and making somebody $24,000 richer while you're renting their house when you could be making yourself richer? And so he asked me about, well, I don't think I could buy a house. I'm only 25 years old. And I was like, well, let's talk about that a minute. So he's been working for 2 years. He makes a decent amount of money. And I said, well, the first step is to see what is your buying power. So let's figure that out. Let me put you in touch with a lender and let's see what your buying power is. It's not going to hurt, and two things will happen. Either you'll be qualified for something, or there might be a credit issue, or maybe you don't make enough money, or your debt to income could be a little bit off and might need to be changed. But let's find out, because if there's any things that we have to work on, then you could take a little bit of time and get them worked on. And maybe you have to rent for a short time and then you could eventually buy. But let's just see. So that's what we did. Turns out that he got qualified for about $225,000 that he could afford. The only issue with that is that in Wake County, it's extremely hard to find something for that price point. But what he didn't understand was his mortgage on buying a home would be around $1,300 to $1,400 a month versus $2,000 to $2,500 for rent. Plus, he'd be getting a little bit of equity in his home. So that prompted me to make this video, and let's just talk a little bit about what your steps are to buy. So number one, you need to get qualified and figure out what your buying power is. What type of loan works for you? Do you need 100% financing, or do you have a down payment? And this young man got 100% financing and wound up getting about $600 back at closing and a decent interest rate at 4.99. So the second step would be, once you're qualified, get all your paperwork together and give it to the lender so that they can do a pre-qualification as far as getting it to the underwriter and seeing if there's any I's that need dotting or T's that need crossing. Then we need to figure out, where can you physically live? Can you drive an hour to work every day or 50 minutes? Because going into a different county outside of Wake County is something that you might need to consider doing in order to get something affordable. But then once you live in it a couple years, you can either keep it as an investment and have somebody pay you rent and make you money, or you can sell it, take the equity out of it, and buy something nicer and bigger in a few years and start building your portfolio. So once you get qualified and we get the paperwork done, then we start looking at homes, doing drive times, and then we put an offer in on a home, and you go from there. So if you are curious if you can afford to buy a home, please don't ever just poo-poo that because you don't know what you're doing. Call a good agent. Call me. I'm happy to refer you an agent here, anywhere in the world, and let's see if we can start getting you some money versus you spending it on rent. Thanks.